Today Baba says that Baba never takes a holiday. Baba never falls sick. No sick leaves for Baba. And Baba is always egoless. Now you see, Baba never takes a holiday. So, and Baba never falls sick. So, when Baba tells this to us, the first thought we have is Baba doesn't have a body. So he doesn't fall sick. That's why he doesn't need a holiday. But are you also bodiless, or are you the body? So I am also a soul, and I am also bodiless. So even if the body falls sick, I can be okay. Just like you see, there were times when Brahma Baba's physical health didn't support, and then Brahma Baba couldn't speak the Murli. So then Brahma Baba would offer his hands, and Shiv Baba would write the Murli through his hands. So the Murli would be written, and then somebody else would speak it. So we have to understand that just like Baba is bodiless, I am also bodiless. Baba also comes and enters a body and works through that body. But Baba has no attachment to that body. And I have attachment to this body. That is why whenever there is illness in the body, we get affected so much. And it's our duty to take care of the body. So yes, we would give it medicines and the rest that it needs. But then we don't have to get affected by the state of health of the body. So the soul can be in a knowledgeful, powerful, peaceful, happy state despite the condition of the body. That is possible, but it requires practice. The practice to be soul conscious. When the body is in good health, then if you practice how to be bodiless, just practice that, I'm a soul. Practice not feeling the body. Practice not feeling the inputs that are coming from the body. So that's why, when we meditate, we sit with open eyes so that I can train myself to see but not see. I can train myself to suspend all the activities of the body while being in the body. So there is a vision, there is a visual before me, but I am a soul. I can choose to see or not see. There is a sound around me, but I can make a choice whether it would disturb me or not, and whether it would pull my attention or not, or whether it is hot or cold and the skin feels it. But I am able to stabilize myself in a state of peace and happiness despite the change in temperature outside. And I remember there was this one time when we used to meditate, and we had started an evening meditation, collective meditation. And I used to do it in the balcony, and there were some insects in the balcony once, and I took the challenge that even if the insects are around and even if they're crawling on the skin, I won't I won't get disturbed. And they were harmless insects, nothing that would bite or something. But when I took that challenge, after 5 minutes I couldn't feel them. And that's the practice that we need to do, because you see, in the end stages, you will not choose your surroundings. When it's just think about the time of destruction, the kind of stench there would be around, or the kind of visuals there would be around, or the cries and wailings and the vibrations of sorrow. And in that, can you stabilize yourself in peace and happiness if you cannot deal with these little things right now? So Baba says that we need to practice being bodyless. And when I practice this state of bodilessness, then just like Baba doesn't need a holiday. So, we will never take a holiday from the spiritual work. So, we might we might need a holiday from physical work, but then you will never need to take a holiday from thinking about Gyan or, churning knowledge or remembering Baba. You don't need a holiday from that. So that is the kind of holiday that Baba is discouraging us from having. So Baba is not saying that you cannot take a physical break, but never take a spiritual break. So, you can always be very attentive to daily classes and maintain your discipline and read the Murli, churn on the Murli, keep your chart of remembrance good despite everything. And even if there is acute pain in the body, why are you suffering and crying alone? Why don't you sit with Baba? And when you're sitting with Baba, then also the pain will pass. And when you're sitting alone and crying, then also the pain will pass. But when you're sitting with Baba in Baba's remembrance, then your experience at that time is not that the pain is hurting me, but that, I'm sitting with Baba and allowing the pain to pass. So Baba says that I'm like this, become like this. And then Baba says, I'm egoless. And I never have this arrogance of I. So you see, Baba doesn't need to come here. Baba comes for us. And Baba is the only entity in the whole world who does selfless service, because Baba doesn't get anything in return. So whatever we do, we get a return of that. We will go to the world of heaven. But will Baba go to heaven? No. Baba will go back. So Baba is the only one who does everything for us and gets nothing in return. But still, Baba never has this thought that I do it for you, or what would happen to you if I were not there. So Baba doesn't have this eye of arrogance. And I think, the only one who ever deserves this eye of arrogance is Baba, but then he never uses it. So Baba could say that, yes, you would not become pure if I was not there, and that's very true. But still, Baba doesn't have that. And Baba says, we children, we have this eye of arrogance. Yes, and it's very subtle, very, very subtle, very difficult to discern. And there are many people who would say that I don't have the eye of arrogance, but most of them don't have the eye of arrogance because they are not doing anything. The moment they do something, they have that ego. And you see, you cannot talk about being humble if you are not doing anything. So, if you're doing something, then you have to do it with humility. Yes, I remember there was this one mother and daughter, and they had come to the center, and the daughter said, my mom cleans the whole house and she keeps shouting at us that you would you people would live in a mess and you don't have any sense of hygiene, and if I were not there you would all fall sick. And the daughter said, but she shouldn't shout. If she is doing the work, she should do it in peace. So I said, you can talk about peace because you're not doing the work. So she's cleaning the house, you're just sitting there and passing comments on how egoistic she is. But the thing is, in another episode, when the daughter had to do the work, she was full of much greater ego than the mother. So you see that when ego is an aspect of when you do something. So most people are egoless until they don't do anything. But the moment you start doing something, then ego begins. And in seva also, when we come to Baba, and until children are just taking from Baba, we are very egoless, and it's a beautiful relationship. But the moment you start doing any seva, Maya comes in the form of arrogance. And I remember there was this one Mata, and she used to do a certain seva of representing Baba's knowledge in pictures. And when she started that seva, she was very grateful. Baba, you gave me seva and I'm very thankful to you, and this and that. And later she started saying, I want to write my name underneath that creation. And I said that we don't write our name because that's Baba's knowledge, right? So why do you want to write your name? You can, it's written, there is a Shiv Baba there, and it's Baba's knowledge, it should go like that. So then she got so arrogant about it that she even left knowledge. She stopped coming to the center. And these are, and if you ask me, in this journey as a practitioner and as a nimit instrument, what I have felt is the moment you start doing any seva, there is this arrogance of I. And that's why until somebody is not doing any seva, they're very humble and polite and very but they are bowing down. But the moment you start doing something, there is arrogance. And Baba says that you cannot have arrogance for seva because seva is your duty, and that's not the duty to the world but also duty to the self. Because when you're doing seva, you're serving yourself first. That seva is giving you the power of blessings. And those blessings are what are going to serve you in your life. So you have to understand that seva is first your duty towards yourself, then your duty towards the bestower Baba, who is giving you everything. And when you understand this, then you can be free from arrogance. And the most important thing is, you see, Baba gives us the maturity and the power to do seva. No Brahmin can do spiritual seva without Baba. And so when Baba is making us do everything, Baba is giving us everything, Baba is making us capable of doing seva, then how can I be arrogant about something that is a gift from Baba? And but this looks very nice to listen to, but then it's not very easy to practice, because Maya is very subtle. And then you start claiming return, and you start looking at I'm not compensated well, and I'm doing this, but I'm not getting proper treatment, and I'm not being appreciated and recognized, and this and that. So whatever return you have in your heart, because when there is the eye of arrogance, you start seeking appreciation, recognition, you start seeking a lot of things very subtly, and then you start getting disappointed because you don't get it. So Baba says that this arrogance makes you fall. But you see, if you did seva, the seva would give you a lot of blessings, and those blessings will make life very easy. Those blessings will do the work for you. But then instead of focusing on the blessings, you start focusing on other kinds of things. And then what happens is name, fame, recognition, appreciation, lots of things. And then what happens is you stop the seva, and also you start filling yourself with that arrogance which makes you fall. And this is why, there are many people who are great in the world, but they don't remain great for a long time. Yes, so there are very many great people in the world. So there are people who can make you laugh, there are people who can make you happy, there are people who can make, who can serve the poor, there are people who can serve the ill, sick. There are so many kinds of people who are capable of a lot of service. But what happens is, after some time, there is arrogance, and that arrogance makes you fall. And that's why this world is not full of serviceable souls. But Baba says, now you are under the direct sustenance of Shiv Baba, and Shiv Baba is the ocean of knowledge. So we know, Baba forewarns us. Baba is the only one who forewarns us, because you see, people in the world, they have a journey where they do not know what challenges they would meet, and what is the destination they will reach. But we here know the destination, and we also know the challenges. So Baba in the Murli tells us about what we need to do. Baba tells us about the Maya that will come on the way also. And Baba tells us about what we will become at the end. So we are the children of the ocean of knowledge. And the ocean of knowledge doesn't leave anything to our imagination. So he tells us everything in advance. That's why, we on this path, when we are with Baba, then Baba forewarns us in advance about all the various forms of Maya that can come. And in English they say forewarned is forearmed. So if you really pay attention to Baba's Murli, then you will never fall into the trap of Maya. But if you don't pay attention, then it's like your parent is telling you, don't step there, don't take a step there, but you go and fall in that same pit again and again. Because you're not paying heed to what your parent is telling you. So Baba says that I give you the whole, I give you the knowledge of Maya also, how it comes and how it deceives you and then how it makes you fall. And if you paid attention, then you wouldn't fall. So Baba says that be egoless like me. Now, you see, this is one thing about ego, that ego, when there is ego, then you get into the arrogance of I am doing it and I am doing the seva and I am taking the responsibility, and this makes you fall. The other side of ego is the feeling of getting insulted. Yes, so how do you discern ego? So when somebody has the capacity to make you feel insulted, then that is a sign of ego. And Baba also frees us from that kind of ego. So you see, the soul doesn't need any validation from outside. Yes, you are you anyway. Right? You are you and you are very worthy as you. You do not need that what you do and what you have to reinforce your self-worth. So Baba gives us the knowledge of who we are, and Baba gives us the knowledge of our elevated stages, and Baba says that you're my child, the child of the Almighty, and then you are the deity soul, you're the Brahmin soul, and you are the ones who are practicing yoga and purity in Sangam Yoga, and that is your identity. Your identity is not based on external attainments and external validation. And you see, the law says that if somebody gives you something, then they can take it away from you. But if they have not given it to you, they can't take it away from you. So if your self-worth is not based on what people give you, then they can't take it away by giving the opposite of what they gave you yesterday. So, if somebody says you are the best, or they appreciate you and they give you a lot of validation, recognition, and that is the basis of your self-worth, then tomorrow when they do the opposite, then you will feel unworthy. But Baba makes us free from this, this cycle of ego and insult. So Baba says that you are a soul and you are important, you are worthy because you belong to Baba and because you're doing the work that Baba asks you to do. So you don't need any external validation, and somebody comes and tells you you're the best, thank you. Somebody comes and tells you tomorrow you're the worst, thank you again. because you were not affected by they saying you're the best, so you're not affected by they saying you're the worst. So that is the kind of freedom that Baba gives us. And in my experience, soul consciousness and this yogi life, the greatest gift of this yogi life is freedom. Freedom from ego and freedom from fear. And I will also talk about fear today. You see, fear makes you do a lot of vikarma. And all the actions that are based on fear are never accurate actions, they never give good results. But there are two big fears in a human being's life: the fear of death and the fear of losing face, the fear of insult. So, Baba frees us from both these fears. Baba gives us the Swaman of who we really are and frees us from the fear of getting insulted. And you see, people are so afraid of of insult that they do so much so that nobody comes and tells them something insulting. I remember there was this one sister who used to, take care that she doesn't make any mistake. And not because she liked to do everything accurately, but because she was very scared of somebody passing a comment that you didn't do this accurately. And still, every day she would meet 5 people who would pass a comment like that. And she used to get very frustrated. Because you see, you cannot stop anybody from giving their opinion. And you may do everything to the T, and you may do, you may become the richest person, but you cannot stop somebody from calling you poor. You may become the most, handsome or good-looking person in the world, but then you cannot stop somebody from calling you ugly. You may be the best cricketer, but then you cannot stop a layman who has never been on the field from commenting on how wrong you played that shot. So you have to learn how to stay unaffected by by the opinions and the noises around you. And Baba gives us that power. Baba tells us that you know who you are and you do what you can do, and you do everything based on Srimad, and you make sure that you're doing your best. And then you know that Baba loves you because you're doing your best. And then you don't care about whether other people like it or don't like it. So this is very important. This is a very freeing state in which Baba, takes us. And then there is the fear of death. And I remember there was this one brother, and he told me that you people talk about peace, but what if somebody comes to kill you? Then will you not attack that person, or will you not harm that person to defend yourself? So I said, no, I would never do that, because then I wouldn't be defending myself, I would be harming myself. So he said, what are you saying? So I said, I am a soul. I am deathless. And if I kill, I will be harming myself. Because that is not good karma. But if somebody kills the body, I don't die. I will take a new birth in a new body and a good birth. So the death of the body is not a big deal, but the fear of death of the body can make me do something which will spoil my karma and spoil my destiny. So you see that fear is such a big, big thing, that because of the fear of death and because of the fear of defamation and insult, you are taking so much burden and you are also crossing the line. And you see, people are always thinking that if somebody shouts at me, I have to shout back. Because otherwise, I will fail there, or they will win and I will lose. So if you are in the fear of losing your dignity, if somebody shouts at you, then can you ever get rid of your sanskar of anger? Never, because you're protecting that sanskar, because you think that that sanskar will come to your rescue when somebody shouts at you. Yes, so people think that, this fear, it makes you protect all your evil sanskars, because you think that when there is an attack, then you will need to use violence, you will need to use anger, you will need to, fight physically. So you are always preparing for physical power. And Baba says that your only recourse should be spiritual power. But then fear makes you think that, no, this is also important. And I remember there was this one brother, he used to come to Gyan, and he also used to be a part of a group that used to prepare for, physical training for war. And then I asked him that, do you not trust Yog Bal, that you are preparing for physical training for war? Then he said, but Didi, at all times Yog Bal doesn't work. So I said, if you think like that, then you will never be able to give your time and attention to Yog Bal. And you will never see the power of Yog Bal. You will never experience what spiritual power is, because your option, your vikalp is not shut. That door is open. So anybody who is in fear cannot fully concentrate on Baba's teachings and on Baba's remembrance, because you're always trying to prepare for times when you think you will have to attack or defend yourself. So attack and defense are the same thing, because attack is the best defense. So you are preparing in the guise of defending yourself, you're always preparing to attack. So then you can either prepare to attack, or you can prepare to be spiritually powerful, whether with words or with behavior or with weapons or whatever. So fear makes you think that you have to be ready to attack. And then you cannot be ready to tolerate, you cannot be ready to, adjust. So Baba tells us you are a soul, and what matters to you is your karma, what matters to you is your state. Doesn't matter even if you lose the body. So Baba always says dharat pariye dharam na chhodiye, which means even if it comes to the death of the body, never leave your religion of purity. But think about it, when it comes to the death of the body, will you care about keeping your feelings pure, or would you think about protecting the body? Which one would you care more about? So Baba says, if you know you are a soul, if you deeply know, not just intellectually know, then you would care about your purity, because when you are pure, then you will, even if you lose this body, you will take a pure body. But if you are body conscious, then you will not care about your purity. You will care about the life and death of the body. So this is very deep, but Baba says that just like I am egoless, I am fearless, I am deathless, you are also like that. And just remember me, remember yourself as my child, and keep working on yourself and come to that place of egolessness, fearlessness. Yes, okay. So there is a confession also that my core feeling is fear. I'm always ready to attack through words. Yes. So don't be so scared. And I was giving that example of that sister, and I made her once sit down and I asked her, what if somebody made a comment on your work? What would happen? What hell would break loose? Nothing would happen, even if somebody hurled abuses at you, what would happen? But if you are in ego, then you have this big fear that nobody should tell me anything. And you're ready to attack with words, or, defend yourself by making sure everything is perfect. But there is nothing perfect outside. Even if you do everything right, you cannot stop somebody from insulting you. So come to that place of soul consciousness, and soul consciousness is egoless and fearless. Om Shanti.